Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers come away with a very good win over Kansas City and Brazil. This is your week 1 recap of Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers. Hit subscribe button if you're new. Also hit the like button. We're going to start off with the team that came away with the win. We're going to cover the first half and the second half and the future of both teams going forward. The Chargers here, phenomenal all around. You went out there and you dominated in the first half. Coach Harbaugh had these boys ready to play. And this is a Chargers team. You're missing Rashawn Slater for the entire season. When we go back 2-3 months ago, when they picked up Najee Harris in free agency, you drafted Marion Hampton in the first round. You have Joe Alt. You have a healthy Rashawn Slater at the time. You can already see on paper what they wanted to do with Greg Roman being the offensive coordinator. They wanted to run the football at a high clip. They didn't do it in this matchup. They let Justin Herbert go out there and show you how much of a franchise quarterback he is. When I say that he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league, this is what I mean. This is one of the best games in his career. In the first half, 12 of 18, 171 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. LA was up 13-6. Conklin, the big tight end, had 50 receiving yards, had a 33-yard catch. But the biggest receiver that went out there and had the best day was easily Quentin Johnson, and I'm so happy for QJ here. Quentin Johnson in the first half had a phenomenal play. It went for 33 yards down the field. Shout out to Ladd McConkey for blocking for him. That led to a receiving touchdown for Quentin Johnston. That one play broke everything open for the Chargers. And you can see him on the sideline. He's smiling. He's getting his confidence. And the reason why I'm so proud and I'm so happy for Quentin Johnston, that rookie season was abysmal. He had so many drops in that first year. Last year, he had a solid season. He still has some drops. But in big time moments in this game, he always stepped up. And I have to give him his props. He looked phenomenal in this matchup all the way through. He's very consistent with his route running, with his speed, and with his catching ability. He's always been a smooth route runner, has very good speed in the open field. It's just been his hands. If he can continue to build off this game, and I think that he will, based off what he did last year, he can be a legitimate wide receiver with this roster. And you have Ladd McConkey, who was already a top wide receiver in football based off of last season. Early on, Kansas City, they were not going to let Ladd McConkey go out there and beat them over the top. They let other weapons go out there and beat them. And Justin Herbert said, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to throw this football into tight windows over and over again to my tight end, Tyler Conklin, to Keenan Allen, who had 7 catches for 68 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. And when they altered their defense, here comes Ladd McConkey for 74 receiving yards. And you had Big Will Dissly late in the fourth quarter, an 18-yard catch, which was huge. This entire offense was led by Justin Herbert in this matchup. Marion Hampton, 15 carries, 48 rushing yards. That's fine. Average 3.2 yards a carry. But Justin Herbert, he also gave you 33 rushing yards. He got blitzed in this matchup a lot. It was a play late in the fourth quarter, and you can feel the momentum swinging. You're like, oh, man, if you're a Chargers fan, it's 3rd and long. Justin Herbert breaks out to the right side. He's running down the field. The camera flips. The next thing that you know, he slides down. It's a first down. Kansas City has 0 timeouts remaining, and they ice out the game. Shout out to Justin Herbert. Going back to before they went to halftime here, you can hear the commentators, Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner, they're worried about the Chargers. Marion Hampton, he went out there. He ran out of bounds. That play gave Kansas City more time. It could have been 13-3 going into half. Instead, it was 13-6 because Kansas City had that fire drill late in the second quarter with Harrison Butker. He converts that field goal. But the offense was flawless today with Justin Herbert, and give Greg Roman a lot of credit. He came up with better passing concepts in this matchup to attack certain players in the secondary with Kansas City. The defense here with the Chargers, they had some good moments. They had some bad moments. You're still playing against one of the best quarterbacks in football, in Patrick Mahomes. It's only so much that you can do when he's twisting his body. He's throwing the football over the field. He has that baseball background. So if you get him into a weird angle to where you twist him around, he may see someone like Travis Kelce at the last minute. He throws the football off. It's nothing that you could do about that. But the contain was damn near perfect. Khalil Mack was getting home a lot. The problem is this: when Mahomes breaks down your defense on the back end, those guys may not be able to keep up with a wide receiver like Hollywood Brown. And that's what happened late in this matchup. It was a huge play to Hollywood Brown from Patrick Mahomes. But the defense, they did their job. They were able to go out there and limit those big plays. Juju Smith-Schuster did have some nice plays in this matchup, but you did a very good job as the game went on. Travis Kelce did have a big touchdown, but you were able to bounce back. Whenever Kansas City had an answer back for the Chargers come back with a Superman punch every single time. And I'm very proud of the Chargers because of this standpoint. Mekhi Becton was questionable to go in this matchup, dealing with an illness. No Rashawn Slater for the rest of the year. You're missing some impactful players on this roster if you are a Chargers fan. And your most impactful tackle in Rashawn Slater. And this is how you perform. If the Chargers can carry this over for the rest of the season, they're easily going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. And it's finally good to see Justin Herbert have a very good coaching staff around him with a coach like Coach Harbaugh, who is undefeated in season openers. Your secondary, Dante Jackson, has some big-time plays. He almost had a pick six late in the second quarter against Patrick Mahomes. And he has very good hands playing with the Steelers last year and with the Carolina Panthers. Don't sleep on him in the secondary. Gilman led the team in total tackles. Henley, the linebacker, he had a very good game, and the same with Derwin James and Elijah Molden. They ran that three safety look once again, and it worked out into their favor with Jesse Mentor, and they made life hell for Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes on the back end. The Chargers, very good win. Easily going to be one of the best teams in the AFC if they can stay fully healthy for the rest of the year. Now we turn things over to the Kansas City Chiefs here. I'm not going to come on here and overreact and say that the dynasty is done. Kansas City, they're over. But as soon as Xavier Worthy went down, the entire offense took a step back for a second. He collided with Travis Kelce. He hurt his shoulder. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious, but he was not able to come back and play in this matchup. That's terrible. If he's going to miss a lot of time, your top wide receivers are going to be Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster and Tyquan Thornton. We have seen Kansas City struggle at the wide receiving position in the past, but not to this degree. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's a solid wide receiver, but he's better off as a number 2 to number 3 option. Tyquan Thornton, he's an okay deep threat. He had a very good play in this matchup against the Chargers. He's not consistent enough. And Travis Kelce, he's not the same tight end that he once was. He may have a couple splash plays here and there, but it's not as consistent as it was 4 to 5 years ago with Mahomes because he is older. Think of tight ends like Rob Gronkowski and Shannon Sharp. When it came down to the later end of their career, they'll have a couple of splash plays. They may have that one big play a game. Then they disappear for the rest of the matchup because the defenders were down on them. And I'm worried about Kansas City and the wide receiving department. Rashee Rice is serving out the suspension now for 5 more games because of what happened in Dallas with that car accident. And he's lucky that it's only a 6-game suspension. From what I was reading, the NFL, they wanted to give him a harsher sentence. But the NFLPA, they had his back. When Rashee Rice comes back into the fold, they're really going to have to get him into the fold here and give him the football as much as possible. But let's hope that your top wide receiver, right now, Xavier Worthy, he's going to be okay. Hollywood Brown did have 10 catches, 99 receiving yards. He's a solid deep threat, but he will have some drops that just make you scratch your head. This man had 16 targets today. He was technically their number 1 wide receiver when Xavier Worthy went out. Hollywood Brown has had some solid plays in the past with the Baltimore Ravens and the same with the Arizona Cardinals. But his Achilles heel has been his hands and the fact that he's always dealing with injuries. I don't trust him to be that consistent number 1 for the foreseeable future. Travis Kelce, at this point in time, it is what it is. He had 2 catches, 47 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. That 1 receiving touchdown went for 37 yards. Cam Newton at halftime is saying you got to find a way to give Travis Kelce the football. He's in bracket coverage. They're on him like glue. It's nothing that he can do. He doesn't have the same capability to go inside and out anymore. He's still a top receiving tight end to have. Don't get me wrong. But in those tight situations, Mahomes just can't force him the football over and over again. That may go for an interception. And considering what we saw in that Super Bowl against Philadelphia, a lot of teams are going to play him like that. You're going to put someone like Derwin James on him or a speedy linebacker, and they may gain leverage on Travis. It's not me saying that he's this bad player, that he's awful. I'm not going to disrespect a future Hall of Famer like that, but you just can't force him the football. I was very disappointed in Noah Gray. I thought that Noah Gray would have had a bigger impact in this matchup. He had 1 catch for 3 receiving yards. Kareem Hunt had 2 catches, 10 receiving yards. Tyquan Thornton had the 1 play that went for 38 receiving yards, but on the day he had 2 catches, 41 receiving yards. And the run game was not explosive. Isaiah Pacheco had 5 carries, 25 rushing yards. Kareem Hunt, 5 carries, 16 rushing yards. Your leading rusher was Patrick Mahomes. He had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. They need to put in more help around Patrick. And these penalties, that's also something else that held them back in this matchup. You had 10 penalties in this game. Bone-crushing penalties. You had to run that fire drill late in the second quarter to walk away with that field goal because of false start. Your rookie tackle in Josh Simmons, and the same with Jawan Taylor. You can't have those type of plays. And this is a team, and this is an organization in general. You've won multiple Super Bowls now with Andy Reid. He teaches discipline. Josh Simmons, he gets an excuse. He's a rookie. Over time, he'll get better with that. He has potential to be one of the best tackles in football. But Jawan Taylor, this man has been going out there and having so many false start penalties over and over again, holding penalties. He's too old for this. And those are just times that the referees call it. I can go back over the last 2 years with Jawan Taylor to where the referees don't even call it when he's moving off sides, to where it's a false start. They're not even calling that half the time. He needs to be better. But this is a nasty habit that he has. Kansas City, they're missing that explosive element right now. And if the Miami Dolphins, if they have a bad season, I'm just going to say this right now. I know that it's week 1. You're still figuring things out. You shouldn't be in a huge panic mode. But if Miami is having a bad season at the halfway point and they're trading away players, see if you could possibly bring back Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill still has juice left in this game. That's only if Miami is going out there and having a bad season. See if you can bring him back. Tyreek Hill is a perfect wide receiver to have alongside Patrick Mahomes because of that deep threat ability. And you can dink and dunk your way down the field with Mahomes. He can still make these miraculous plays behind the pocket. He can put the football to only where the wide receiver and to where only the tight end can get it. But it's only so much that he can do when the wide receivers can't get open on a consistent basis and they can't create that separation, especially on third down. The defense here with the Chiefs, they came out and they were blitzing Justin Herbert. They had some good moments. They stopped the run. The secondary just had problems covering Keenan Allen, and the same with Quentin Johnson on the back end. You need to clean that up because there's a lot of good wide receiver and quarterback duos in the AFC right now. It's one team in particular in the Cincinnati Bengals. They have 2 number ones and an amazing quarterback in Joe Burrow. Their defense is just atrocious right now as I record this video. But if you're giving up these type of big-time plays to Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, and Ladd McConkey, and even to a tight end like Conklin, no disrespect to him, no disrespect to any of these players. But if you're giving up those big-time plays on a routine basis, especially when it is third down, you're going to be in trouble. You're putting more pressure on Patrick Mahomes. And this is something that Kansas City hasn't ran into over the last 3 years. Their defense has been very consistent on the back end. Doubling the number 1 wide receiver, putting Trent McDuffie on the number 2 wide receiver, and flipping formations on the back end. But they came in with that blitz every single time on Justin Herbert, and it hit home. Coach Spass comes out there with that blitz. 3rd down and 14. Late in the 4th quarter, right around the 2-minute warning. He frees up to the outside. No one else is there. He goes off. He gets those rushing yards that ends the game. But this is not a terrible outing for Kansas City. And I had Kansas City win this matchup. I'll take it on the chin. I'm 1-1 right now in my prediction. I had the Eagles last night. I had Kansas City tonight. And I'm glad to say I'm wrong if you are a Chargers fan. But back to the Chargers here for a second. Build off of this. This should resonate with the entire locker room. They now have that confidence moving forward that we can beat Kansas City. Do you know how many times they lost 1-score games in the past to this organization? When you had Brandon Staley as the head coach, when you had Anthony Lynn as the head coach, even dating back to last year. But the Chargers had so many injuries. That first matchup, no Rashawn Slater, no Joe Alt. Justin Herbert's dealing with an ankle sprain. That matchup was still close. The rematch, no Ladd McConkey. Now you have a relatively healthy Chargers team with the exception of Rashawn Slater. And you go out there and you beat this team in Brazil. This was a very good game. And we're 2 for 2 right now, in my opinion, with starting off the season with some banger games by having the Eagles and the Cowboys last night and having the Chargers and Kansas City tonight. Hopefully this resonates with the rest of the league and we continue to get a very good week of football in the NFL and the same with college. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this game tonight? And shout out to the NFL. They put this game free on YouTube. They should do this more. Personally, I pay for NFL Plus, but I'm all up for free games. I love it. For the consumer, you got to throw us a bone here. NFL Red Zone now will have ads. Go out there, give us some free games, man, on YouTube. They should do this on a yearly basis. Give us at least 1 to 2 games a year on YouTube. But this was a huge spectacle in Brazil. Last year, the game in Brazil, it was between the Packers and it was between the Philadelphia Eagles. That game was only on Peacock. Go out there and put more games on YouTube. It was a fun experience all around. And one more quick note about Kansas City. Kansas City did have a missed extra point attempt in this matchup where after Mahomes had the scrambling touchdown, you had to go for 2 a couple drives later. You didn't walk away with the 2-point conversion. So those are potentially 3 points that you left on the board against the Chargers. You still got outplayed in this matchup, but I still believe that Kansas City will be a tough team to beat for the rest of the season. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.